Stacey Hawkins from StaceyHawkins.com, the place to be to make a better meal and live a better life. Today is no exception. I want to take the next couple of minutes and talk to you about one of my favorite greens ever, which happens to be asparagus. Now, asparagus is in season, it's spring right now, and I want to talk to you about a couple things. First of all, how to buy asparagus and what to look for, and then I'm going to give you 3 different ways to be able to make it, basic techniques that you can change up in 100 different ways. So if you think that asparagus is supposed to be lean and limp and green and gross, well, you're completely wrong. I'm going to show you today how to take asparagus and make it super exciting. All right, first let's talk about what to look for when you're buying asparagus. I'm going to take this out of the water here, and I'm going to bring it up close. First thing I want you to notice is these buds. You see how nice and tight they are? They're not slimy, they're really firm, and they have a really nice earthy smell to them. That's the first thing you're going to look for. The second thing you're going to look for is to make sure that they're nice and firm, that they're nice and, taut. You don't want them limp to begin with. And then the next thing you want to look for is the size. I like my asparagus pencil thin. It cooks really easily. There's not a lot of wood at the bottom, and I just think it's so much tastier. Now, some of you grew up with really fat asparagus, and that's what you like, then go for it. So after you choose it, how do you prep it? Well, when you get it home, the very first thing you want to do is treat your asparagus, just like you treat your fresh flowers. Cut the ends off, put them in like this case, I have a soup mug here, some sort of a vessel that you can put some water in, put the water in it, and just put them in your refrigerator. This is how to keep them for almost up to a week, right? Just set them in the back of the fridge in the water, and they're going to be fine. Next, when you prep them to cook them, you're going to trim them once again. You don't have to trim a lot off, but just a little bit, because you may see that they're split at the bottom. And if you have thin ones like this, that's really all you have to do. If you get the fatter asparagus, you may want to take a vegetable peeler and peel those woody ends off the bottom, because otherwise they're really tough and they're really fibrous and they're almost impossible to chew. All right, so now what? We have our beautiful asparagus, and what do we do with it? Well, I want to share with you 3 quick, basic ways to be able to cook them that don't have anything to do with the boiling. We think of putting them in boiling water or, these big asparagus pots. It doesn't have to be that complicated. First technique is steaming, and it's one of my favorites. You basically just take either a frying pan, put a teeny tiny bit of water in the bottom of it, and then lay your asparagus in it, put a lid on it, poof, bring it up. Everything's going to turn to steam. You leave it on high for about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how big your asparagus is. Drain off the water, and then away you go. Now, the other way you can steam it is actually in a steamer basket. You can chop it up, put it in the steamer basket, chop up the asparagus, not the steamer basket. Chop up your asparagus into like 1 or 2 inch chunks, put it in the steamer basket, and just steam it again for a couple of minutes. Quick and easy. Now, when it comes out, what do you do with it? Well, whether you do it the frying pan method or the other steaming basket method, basically you just want to put some salt and pepper, maybe a little butter on it if butter's approved. If not, if you want to go with a healthy fat and some flavor, you can always use the Valencia orange oil, or the lemon oil would be really good on that as well. Just drizzle it over like you would butter, and then you can do a little seasoning on it. If you want to kick it up to a different level, then why don't you go ahead and mix and match, like the toasted sesame ginger seasoning and the Valencia orange seasoning on steamed asparagus. Delicious. The great thing about that is when you have leftovers, throw them in the fridge, and they're awesome as a salad the next day. All right, so steaming, method number 1. Let's talk about method number 2, which is one of my all-time favorites, which is grilling. What? Grill asparagus? Absolutely. These tender, tasty shoots are absolutely magnificent when you do them on the grill, but you have to prep them a little bit first. So you can either use a grill basket or you can put them right on the grill tines, but first you need to drizzle them or coat them in a teeny tiny bit of oil, and you can do some seasoning as well. I love grilled asparagus with the dash. Why? I'll tell you in a minute. So after you drizzle a little oil, put a little salt and pepper or other seasoning on it, then you can put them in the grill basket, throw them on the grill on medium-high. Again, 5 to 7 minutes. It doesn't take very long, but because you have an ambient heat, it's going to take a little longer than steaming it, and away you go. Now, the other thing you can do too is you can take that asparagus, and if your grill is going this way, line your asparagus up this way right on the grill, and that's just common sense so it doesn't fall through. When it comes off the grill, especially if you've seasoned it simply, like with the dash or maybe a little roasted garlic oil, like I said, then you drizzle balsamic over it. Oop, I'm making a mess. Not just any balsamic though. You want a balsamic more like a glaze, like my balsamic mostacado. It's going to take that sweetness out of the asparagus and away you go. Again, delicious, simple, easy, tasty. Last but not least, how about roasting it? I love roasted asparagus, especially when you have something else going in the oven, like a roasted chicken, or maybe you're doing a roast beef or something else where you're cooking in a warm oven. And again, you need to protect these little guys because they are delicate. So put them in your roasting pan, drizzle a little bit of oil or some other fat over them, and then some seasoning, and you can roast them away. About 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Again, ambient heat, so it's going to take a little bit longer in the oven. But again, you want to put some really good seasoning on them. So one of my favorites when I do it in the oven is the garlic and spring onion. It's got that spring onion in it, some garlic, some salt, some pepper, and a little bit of the lemon oil. And between the lemon and the garlic, mwah, oh my gosh, so good, so delicious. And you can do a whole bunch of that. You don't need to do just a little bit. Have a lot, use it as leftovers for the entire week. So asparagus, it can be your friend, it can be delicious, and it doesn't have to be gray, limp, and overboiled. I'm Stacey Hawkins. I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. For more great ideas, tips, and techniques, check out staceyhawkins.com, or you can always see us on Facebook as well under the Stacey Hawkins. Have a great day, everybody.